Okay. Live. Okay. Let's hope everything, good. We're healthy. We're healthy. All right. Let's wait to get some people in here. See what's going on. This is exciting. Got a lot of cool things to get through. And I'm super excited to do it. So let's wait until we get some people in here. Dean was going to join, but he's busy making sauce right now. Hey, what's going on, Brett? I imagine that's you manning it over there. How's it going, Brett? How's it going? Let me know if everything is sounding and looking good. I am running through. Well, I'm technically running one laptop, but I have two laptops. One so I can see you guys and to make sure that the stream looks good over there, and then the main one that I have right here. Thank you so much, Brett. Thank you. Let me make sure that I have the right mic connected. I'm pretty sure I do. So just let me know if everything is sounding good and looking good. And should be probably getting some more people up in here before we start diving into everything. But yeah, dude, this is nuts. 2 years. 2 years. And it flew by. All right, cool. I have a lot of things that I'm gonna test this really quickly. I want to make sure that this is working okay. If I do this, it's not gonna blow out everything. And I wanna move this. So now that we're live, it's gonna be a small box, maybe. I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but let me know if things start getting choppy with me having the window open. I hope it doesn't. But this is gonna be a little thing we're gonna go through. And just make sure that it looks good and you guys can read this. So if I scroll, it's not going to be all crazy looking. Kind of highlight some of the stuff that we did within the year. So we'll hide that for now. And hopefully that's okay. Let me make sure I get this on Instagram as well. So give me 1 second so I can post this. I'm going to mute my mic for a second. All right, I just got to get this out, make sure everybody knows that I'm live. I didn't do a lot of promoting on this, but that's okay. Brett, how you doing, man? Thank you for being here. I really do appreciate it. I don't know how many people we're gonna get in here, but we'll see. We will see. Oh, you know what? I gotta share it into the podcast group I'm in. This. Actually, I have a really exciting week this week too, with some guests that we have coming on and a movie that we are reviewing that I am so stoked for. But we'll get to that. Yeah, luckily my workday is all over. Okay. So Brett, as you know, you've been on a couple episodes, and we're probably gonna highlight that. I'm gonna highlight a lot of the guests that we've had on, and a lot of like special moments. I reached out to Dean. He was gonna try to come on, but he's really busy getting stuff made for the weekend. He has a big convention about a I think it's like a 3 or 4 day event that he's got going on. I think this weekend. I think it's about 3 or 4 days. It's a really, really big one. I forget the name of it because he does so many conventions. So he was going to come on and talk about some of the stuff that he liked and what he wanted to highlight and whatnot. But unfortunately, he wasn't able to. So he sent me a message of some stuff he wants me to highlight, which I totally will do in a few minutes. I just want to give everybody another 2 minutes or so before we start doing a bunch of stuff. This is another thing. So this is the second live stream I've done on YouTube. Completely different from Twitch. Like 100% completely different. And every time I'm on here, the YouTube page says that my microphone volumes and stuff are not loud enough, but I have everything not like maxed, but on like the best quality I can have, and it's like, open up this widget to go and fix your audio, but then I click on it and nothing happens. It's so strange. So yeah, it's been crazy, and these live streams are really fun. The last one that I did, was it last week? I think it had to be last Sunday. I think it's been about a week, and we're just kind of talking, getting used to it, talking about some other stuff. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. OBS is perfect over here. Like I have no complaints. Just YouTube is just weird. But I guess we can start going over a couple things since you're here, Brett, and this will be up for everybody to watch later on. I'm sure we'll get other ones popping in. So as you saw earlier, I have the website up for the podcast, and I also have the YouTube channel. No, get out of here. Can I get rid of that? Got it. Hopefully that didn't freak things out. We're gonna find out together. Here's the YouTube channel, which has actually been growing pretty well since I don't push it that much. So what I figured what we would do, as long as things aren't going to be too choppy. Let's give it a second. Looks like it got a little choppy there with things loading. Let me know if we're good. No more candy. Hey, can I have grapes? Yeah. Let me know if we're still good. Logan's over there asking me some questions and whatnot. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to bring up this page because I thought it'd be kind of cool to scroll through and kind of talk about some of the highlights. So I wanted to go over the ones that Dean was talking about. And there's actually a big one that I think a lot of people didn't realize happened. And I don't know if it's because when we were promoting it or getting it out there, it wasn't being pushed to the top with a lot of the stuff that I had going on. And that was, I think it was our Friday the 13th episode, which a lot of people... Yeah, I'm going to minimize this. Let's see. Does that still look okay to you guys? Let me know. Oops, nope, I did not want to click on it. This is top tier stuff right here, guys. So go over here and we can highlight it if it wants to go and do what I want it to do. Come on. This is a new laptop too, so it shouldn't be freaking out that much. Yeah, we had Jason Eisner on here, which is crazy. So this one right here, this was a really, really big episode that I don't think a lot of people realized happened. Is that we had CJ Graham and Tom Matthews on the show. And I think the only people who would have seen this is if you were already a listener for a while. and maybe been following the podcast on either Twitter or Instagram or anything like that. So that was a huge episode. And honestly, I have to thank Dean for all of it. He's the one that reached out to Tom Matthews first, because I think what happened, and this is kind of a cool story, is Dean was, I think, already in talks with Tom Matthews, because Dean, for anybody who knows, he had his own podcast before he jumped on over here, and he's very famous for only having 3 episodes out in a year. So he had that, and also I talked to CJ Graham at, I think it was an expo in last November called like Monster Expo Returns or something like that. That's very close to me. And I got a hold of CJ's email. And actually, I don't know if you guys can see it. Right over there, you see the Jason post picture that I have that CJ signed during that convention. So Dean was in talks with Tom Matthews because he was trying to get him on for his podcast like about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years. And then I had CJ's email, but Dean was like, oh, I already have his email because I've met his wife at a convention or something like that. So how all this tied together is, I was like, dude, I don't know what we should do for a guest this month, right? So we weren't running dry. We were just like, we don't know what we want to do. So this is maybe December, early January. And I was like, dude, what are we going to do for a guest next month? So we're planning a month ahead. And he's like, dude, I have a great idea. Let's get CJ Graham and Tom Matthews on, and we'll do a Friday the 13th special. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Let's do it. I don't know if it's going to work, because sometimes even like the B tier actors in like a franchise, like ones that have only been in like one film or only in there for a little bit, usually kind of
before the bloodbath begins,
show off, and they don't want, oh, what's going on?
Socials.
1 second, guys.
For the podcast, slash over to Twitter.
Let's get the
BHO_podcast.
What is going on?
The Baron's Hideout podcast. And stab
is
over
playing
to
right now?
Dean's Instagram at
Well, hold on.
Dean
One
of the
one
Dead
second, guys.
Hot Sauce.
Let's just mute that.
Listen to the show.
I don't know what was
Favorite
playing, but
apps
something on here was
and
playing,
Patreon.
and I think it might have been my
Join
trailer.
us and try
So
stay alive.
going back to the story,
For the next period of
I was like, I don't know if
time,
it's gonna work, because Tom Matthews has been doing the what is he doing?
in which the living
He's doing like the
and methods of the genre.
don't
And
hike
this
in the
is what
woods
happens.
stuff.
No
you know,
one
like those
gets out alive.
those
This is
YouTube movies,
within
essentially, with
Barrens.
whatever company it is, I forget. I was like, I don't know if he's gonna be down to doing that. He might be.
Hey, this is Cheney Morrow, and you're
might be
listening
too
to the
busy.
Baron's Hideout
But no, he sent him an
podcast.
email, and he was like, "Yeah, dude,
wanna
let's do it."
see my
And we're like,
face?
"How would you be okay with CJ Graham coming on?" Because we didn't know what their relationship was like. And I'd be like, "No, we go to festivals and conventions all the time together." So we got that together, and the episode just happened, and that was a huge thing. Yeah, it was definitely the intro. I muted it. Let me know if you guys can
Joining
still
us
hear it, but
today
it should
is
be
a
gone.
spooky, lovable ghost himself, Cheney Morrow. He's in films such
see.
as Haunt, Wrong Turn 2021, which was the reboot, and the
How do you
anticipated
mute?
Mutilator 2. So let's dive
Oh, let's do
into the
this.
scare.
We'll mute my desktop audio. You don't need my desktop audio. Let me know if that's still going on. I muted it on my end, but it's still going through an OBS for some reason. Hey, Cam, what's going on? It's still playing. Okay, let me know if it's gone now. It should be gone. Ken, how you doing? Going over a couple of things. Yeah, we're being a complete... Oh, you know what? Here it is. Here's what's playing. Danny Morrow, for some reason, was playing. I found it. Found the culprit. So let's go back to... Where were we? God, we've done so much shit. So, we're going to go back to... Did I go past it? Where the hell did it go? Oh, right here. So this one, where my mouse is, the Friday the 13th one. I'm doing good. I'm doing really, really good. Let me know if everything's sounding good, Ken, on your end and looking good. This is the like lowest tier setup I could possibly have, so it's not going to be the best. So I was just talking about with Brett from Dissect That Film. One of the big things that has happened in the last year was us doing the Friday the 13th special with CJ Graham and Tom Matthews. It was huge. Super huge. All right, awesome. As long as I sound good, I guess that's all that really matters. I don't really care how I look. So yeah, that was a huge one. Dean, he also... Yeah, dude, no worries at all. Thank you for stopping by. Feel free to leave a like and whatnot, and that will help. So yeah, we had that one. Another one that Dean wanted to highlight that I also wanted to highlight because what came out of this is huge. So after we had actually no, it was before. Really, was it before? That's weird. Sometimes the I think when we record things, I don't put them out in the order that we record, so I think that's what happened. I'm pretty sure we recorded CJ first, and then thank you so much, Ken. I think we recorded the CJ Graham and Tom Matthews one first, and then we did Damien. So for anybody who is here, who is a fan of the movie Haunt, or a fan of Strangers Pray at Night, which is a really, really cool film, or the remake of Wrong Turn, we had Damien Maffei on. And what came of this was something so shocking and so surreal, like super surreal. I don't even know how to even talk about this without, saying it's just surreal. Is we had Damien Maffei on, and the reason why we wanted him on is because Dean and I are huge Haunt fans. We love Haunt, and I really, really liked Strangers Pray at Night. So we had him on, and at the end of the interview, I was like, hey, because I usually ask like where people are located or whatnot and see what they're doing. So I asked him, and he was like, yeah, I'm in Massachusetts. I'm like, you got to be fucking shitting me, right? Like, you got to be shitting me. And he's like, no. He's like, I live like 15 minutes from Salem. I'm like, dude, I live in Massachusetts too, and it's about a 45-minute drive for me. So we got off of the interview with him, and we were just kind of talking and whatnot. And now we're friends, like real life friends. We text, we go out to dinner sometimes. I went to go see the Outwaters premiere that was happening in Cinema Salem in Salem that we did. So like that's a relationship that was built from this podcast that I don't even know how to like comprehend it, I guess, So yeah, Damien Maffei and myself and Dean are pretty close friends with him now, and it's so crazy because there's a lot of things that he was talking about that I'm not at liberty to talk about right now. But he talks so much about production, movies, and everything else. As anybody who knows, he's going to be he's a voice actor in the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre game that's going to be coming out, which he's been, promoting like crazy. And I'm so excited for it. And he's also a gamer, so I can't wait to download it and play with him and, me play as him. That would be really weird. But, that is what it is. So we became friends with Damien Maffei. Thanks, Ken. Thank you for stopping by, dude. This will be up, so if you want to check it out later, it will be there on the channel. So, yeah, absolutely insane. Another thing to kind of go along with that is right after Damien, I was like, Dean, should we just reach out to Cheney Moreau and see if he'd want to come on and kind of do like a back-to-back almost of haunt actors? So we did, and we got Cheney on. And for anybody who doesn't know, he is in essentially the Last Shift remake called Malum. And we've been lucky enough to actually get a screener for it. The director and one of the producers reached out to us. I don't know if it was because of Cheney or not, but nope, we've seen it. It's really good. And for anybody who is curious, and if you're a fan of The Last Shift, the original movie, go and see this. It's really good. It's going to be in theaters March 31st. So that was another thing. So Cheney is also sort of a close friend, but not as close as Damien. But it's so crazy what happens when you're doing something like this as a hobby. And I have to pinch myself every single day to say that what is happening is happening, and it's crazy. It's super duper crazy. And for anybody who's listening in right now, or anybody who has been supporting us, who has been sharing our stuff and listening to an episode, even if it's only for like a couple of minutes, I owe all this to you. I really, really do. Dean as well. We owe everything to you guys. We're not the biggest channel in the world. Like, we're not. We're very, very, very small. And to have had opportunities to talk to some of these people is amazing, and it means a lot. It really, really does. And we try to support everybody else in the podcast community as well. And we're just gonna keep going, man. It's got to keep on going, keep on going. So yeah, we had Cheney Morrow on. He might be coming on again because he has another film that's going to be coming out called Watchdog that I'm really, really excited for. That he's I think he's a main lead in it. And for anybody who's curious as to who Cheney played in Haunt, he was Ghost. He played the Ghost. He was the Ghost character, and Damien was the Devil. And now I guess it has been confirmed that there is going to be another Haunt movie, and I'm excited for that. It's really funny because I brought it up to Damien when we were at the Outwaters screener, and I was like, would you partake in like another Haunt movie? Would you, like, if there was them going back and essentially like talking about these characters before they turned, even though you don't really need it? Or I was like, if they were to do that, would you do it? And he was like, yeah, I really would, but the directors, they never do a sequel, which is kind of true. There's always somebody else who does a sequel for it. So I'm really, really excited for that. I'm trying to think. There was something else that Dean wanted me to do. Crap, I don't remember what he said, but I know the one for me that I am super excited that happened. Let's go back a little bit. Is all of the Terrifier 2. I can't pick a single like one that I love the most. I mean, obviously you're gonna say, well, you're gonna like the Damien and David interview. That was really, really fun. I was really upset and sad that Dean couldn't make it, but he was on vacation at the time, so he wasn't able to come over and chat with Damien and David. That was David's second time being on the podcast. He was on earlier in the year, about, when was this, in October? I think it came on in like August. So it was a couple months before he came on again. And that was super fun. And then, we had Lauren Rivera on, which is really, really cool. Aaron Kuntz, that was a really, really cool one. That's definitely became a really cool relationship with him. We were able to get Emily Higgins on for Sorry About the Demon. She wrote and directed that. That was really, really fun. And I think out of all these other things that I'm highlighting and talking about in these guests that have been on, because there's been a lot, and we only started doing guests, I think, in like September of last year, is our relationship with Screenbox. And the people that I have met through Screenbox, Alex, who runs the socials for Screenbox, also this Broke Horror Fan. He writes for Bloody Disgusting. He's a filmmaker, and he lives in Massachusetts, so he's really, really close to me. That was really cool to become a friend with him, and we just did the newest episode. I think was released, right? Was that the last one that was up? Yes. So this one, the newest Screenbox Essential Picks, has Alex in it, and we talk about Doom Asylum and Evil Ed. that was really fun. So Screenbox has been great. Nope, they're not a sponsor. It is something that might become something in the future. Bones Horror Podcast. Thank you guys so much for coming in and spreading the love. Thank you. So that was really cool. This has been so much that has happened in a year. This is the notebook that I use when I am doing notes or anything like that for the show. I started doing. When did I start writing in this? The first entry I have in here that I date everything is it was Tuesday, September 6th of last year, and the first thing that we covered that I wrote in here that was given to us from Screenbox was Pussy Cake. I don't know if anybody has seen that film. I hope you have, because it's so wacky and so foreign that I love it. So we were able to interview the people from them. Sorry, guys. I have so many things going on. Okay. So, yeah. We started doing screeners for Screenbox, which was super fun. And in tandem with that, we do a bunch of interviews and stuff for them as well. And there's actually a few that are coming out. Oh, there goes my lights again. Don't mind those lights, guys. They're gonna fall down a lot. The strips I have up there are a little old. I gotta replace them. Let me know if you guys have any questions or if there's anything that you liked in the last year that you want me to talk about and highlight and kind of go behind the scenes for. I can definitely do that. Like, was there a moment from anybody who's watching right now that you were like, damn, that was crazy. I can't believe they did that. Because there was a lot of moments like that for us of like, wow, how the hell were we able to get this person on? Or how were we able to see this movie or do anything like that? It's been a wild ride. And Logan, stop. So another thing that happened that is a huge thing that's so monumental, like bigger than anything else, like bigger than Screenbox, you know, letting us cover some of their stuff or doing interviews or anything like that, was my best friend from the UK came and stepped in as co-host, and that's Dean of the Dead. And he does hot sauce and a bunch of ales and some merch in the UK scene. He lives over in UK. Any recommendations? Let me think on that. Let me finish my thought. And so Dean stepped in. He stepped in right before September. So I think it was August. Logan, stop. So Dean stepped in about August, right before we started doing all the Screenbox stuff, and he's been amazing. He hasn't been able to make every single episode, and that's just because he's super busy, and he's running his own brand over there. Any recommendations? I would say that if you don't have Screenbox, if you don't have their service, go on there. As you can see. You see this right here where it says Screenbox Essential Picks. I have a new series that I'm doing that I was also going to highlight with you guys. I'm only 4 episodes in right now, but the goal for it is for anybody who is new, or if you are already on Screenbox and you're a little overwhelmed with what's on there, and you don't know what to watch, and you want to watch something, but you have no idea what you want to watch. I'm doing this Screenbox Essential Picks. So I always have to elaborate what that means. So I'm not highlighting like Halloween or Friday the 13th or any like the big horror movies, right? Because I mean, everybody has done that. Everybody has had their essential lists of Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. They've all had that stuff. If you're a horror fan, those are always on your list. So what I'm doing with this is I want to bring attention to movies that are on the Screenbox service that a lot of people will just gloss over, might not even give it a chance. They'll say, oh, that's a foreign film? No, I don't want to watch it. Or, I've never heard of that. It looks kind of cheesy. I'm not watching it. So, that's why I'm doing this. So far, the movies that I have done. So, if you want some recommendations, here are the ones I'm going to recommend. I'm going to go through all the ones that we've done. First episode, I did Homebound and Bedeviled. Now, Homebound is not to be confused with Housebound, the New Zealand horror comedy. Not that one. This is a completely different one. Homebound and Bedeviled. Those are the first 2 that I covered on there. And then we had guest Boomer from Podcast in the Woods. We did a Bollywood Scream movie. It was essentially like their answer or their kind of call to Scream. And it's called Shh. So that one was really fun. It's about 3 hours, but it's really fun and it's wacky. And then that's when I picked. And my guest who that was on, Boomer, he did The Barn, which is a horror comedy, essentially, very fueled by Halloween. So if you guys haven't seen The Barn or Shh, I highly recommend that you do. And then I had another one that I recorded, I think, the day after that I put out a couple days later with the other host of Podcast in the Woods, Gabby. And she picked Hell House LLC, which is a fairly well-known found footage horror film. It's fun. I enjoy it. There are 2, and I think I'm at liberty to say this. I think I'm at liberty to say this. When I was talking to Alex, because on Screenbox they only have 1 and 2 as of right now, but they are going to be adding the 3rd one, and I'm very, very excited for that. So, to pair with Hell House LLC, I did Killer Party, which is another horror comedy from the 80s that is so wacko, but so fun that you need to watch it. So these are recommendations for anybody who is curious as to what they should be watching, or if you have Screenbox, or if you're thinking about getting Screenbox. And then obviously the newer one that we just put out is Doom Asylum and Evil Ed. Max, give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that, guys. I had to do something for my son. So yeah, we're doing a bunch of Screenbox stuff. So if there's any other recommendations, let me know. Or anything else you want me to highlight. Pretty sure there was something else I wanted to highlight too. Let me quickly go through. Oh, that's what it was. Okay. This is a big one that I think a lot of people probably didn't realize that it was big. Is that I had Kurt Wimmer on, who was the director and the writer of the new Children of the Corn movie. I have my thoughts on that film. I won't go into any details about it at all. Just leave it at that. But I had Kurt on, and for those of you who probably don't know, is he directed a lot of action movies in the late 90s, early 2000s. And one of them was one of my favorites, is Equilibrium. Love that movie. Absolutely amazing. Have I seen Be My Cat? I have not. Yeah, Screenbox will be over in the UK soon. That's all I can say, is that it will be over there soon. But keep an eye out for it. So if you are in the UK, I do apologize that Screenbox is not over there for you yet, but it will be soon. But yeah, Evil Ed is crazy. That movie is so nuts. It was really, really fun to kind of talk about. But yeah, back to Kurt Wimmer. We had him on, and that was a pinch me moment. We were lucky enough to have gotten a screener and some interviews with the cast and the writer. So we had him on and we talked to him, and that was awesome. Absolutely awesome. I'm trying to think, is there anything I can talk about as of right now that we're going to be doing that I feel okay talking about? Yeah, I guess we have a couple things this month that's going to be coming out tomorrow. This is one that I've been trying to get to happen for about a month now, and it's finally landing. Is that we're having Ross Paul, who played the father in Skinamarink, come on tomorrow, and I'm super excited for that. That's going to be very, very fun. It was a tricky one to kind of get together, but it's going to be good. It might just be me. I don't know if Dean's going to be able to sit in on that one, but we do have another interview after that I don't want to say, just in case if I get in trouble for saying. But yeah, Ross Paul, that's our next interview. I think within the last week or so, we haven't really posted many interviews, just because I'm trying to focus a little bit more on the new series that I'm doing, which is the Screenbox Essential Picks. So make sure you guys are checking those out. That will help a lot. So we have Ross Paul, and you know what? This is kind of an exciting one too to talk about. I have to thank Dean a lot for this, getting this to happen. Is all the new art that we have for our interviews and movie reviews. All that art has been done by an amazing artist. So if anybody is in the market for looking for a new freelance artist who is very affordable, very, very cool, and makes his own comics and stuff, is Jason Miller in the UK. He does a lot of cool comics and other art. I did have his comic book over here somewhere. I'll have to find it later. But he's working on his second issue of his new comic called The Hell. I have issue 1 over here somewhere, but he also did some other comics that was really, really cool. So if anybody is in the market for spicing up some of their images or anything like that, it is definitely worth reaching out to Jason. I'm actually going to be having him do some new art for the Screenbox Essential Pick series that's going on right now. That's super duper cool. We had him on. There was another one that Dean said that we needed to highlight. This is the problem when you have so many things that have happened in a year. It's so hard to keep track of the things that you want to highlight. I do have a little bit of notes over here that I'm reading off of. Okay. This is it. Way back here, right here. So last August. So it was right about the time that Dean joined. So we had Tim Jacobus, and if anybody who is wondering who the hell is Tim Jacobus and why is this important, he was the artist that pretty much made my childhood. He did most of the 1990s Goosebump book covers. So he did all of the art for that, Monster Blood, and the thing, all those kind of books. He did that. That was a really, really cool interview. Super cool. He does go to conventions every now and then. He's in the convention circuit. So you can go and see him. You can also go on his website and buy prints of those books of high quality too, like really, really high quality images. And one thing that I didn't realize until it was posted again, for anybody who doesn't know, I live in Massachusetts and I attend Salem Horror Fest every year. And I didn't realize that last Salem Horror Fest, they were doing a whole Joe Dante retrospective thing and talking about Joe Dante. And Tim actually did a poster. He drew up the poster of a mosh of all of Joe Dante's movies. Gremlins was in there. I think Piranha was in there. Howling was in there. A bunch of really, really cool things. And I think you can still buy that off the website and you can get it signed and whatnot. You might even be able to get it off of his site as well. But that was really, really cool. Brett, here you are. You're a guest when we did Child's Play. That was all the way back in freaking August, dude. So if you're still here and you're listening, last time you were on before then. After then. You came on not that long ago. But the first one that you came on for was Child's Play. And that was super fun, dude. So anybody who is looking for another podcast to listen to where they dive into things other than horror is Dissect That Film. So make sure you go and support them. Brett's awesome, and all of his co-hosts as well. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Wow. This was another pinch me moment. Is that we had most of the Losers Club from the It miniseries, and this is what sparked essentially our Screenbox relationship. Was when the Pennywise doc came out. Pennywise: The Story of It. When that came out last year, I don't remember how this happened. I don't remember. I either reached out or they'd reached out to me. I don't remember how it all happened. But anyway, we got an email. I don't know if it was from me or from them, asking to see if we could cover it. And we got a screener for it, and we watched it. And then that made me aware of Screenbox. I was already aware of the Screenbox service because earlier, I think about 2 or 3 months before, they had Freddy's Nightmares on there. Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street, like that TV show. was on there for about 3 or 4 months. And then they were doing Pennywise, the story of it. And I said to Dean, I was like, should we try to jump on this? And we did. We got it. And then we sat down for the interviews. Actually, I can let you know when those interviews were. Yep, in August. So, was that our first interview? No. That wasn't. No, there was more interviews before then, which I will go back and talk about because now I'm starting to think of more that has happened. But yeah, we did Pennywise, the story of it. We did it with John and Gary, who were the writers and the directors of the doc, who are also doing. They have the Robert Englund doc coming out and RoboCop that's coming out, and they're both going to Screenbox this year, which is really, really cool. I'm excited for that. That's already been announced, so everybody knows that. So yeah, we did those interviews, and then something. Oh, this is what happened. I reached out to Screenbox on Twitter, and I was just kind of shooting in the wind and saying, hey, we like your service, because I was watching Freddy's Nightmares on there at the time. And I was browsing their catalog, and then I saw that they were going to announce Pennywise, the story of it. So I reached out to them on Twitter, and now that I coming back and realizing it was Alex that was talking to you the whole time, because that's like when he joined on and started doing all of the social media for Screenbox. So around this time is when everybody would have been realizing that, what is this new streaming service? I keep seeing Screenbox everywhere. Never heard of it before, but they have these big movies coming on there and these shows and documentaries and stuff. So that was pretty much all Alex is doing, and he's been doing it ever since. But anyway, I'd reached out to them, and he was like, yeah. We have Pennywise, the story of it coming out. Let me get you an email. He took my email and he started sending me a bunch of information and stuff. So we got that, and it kind of just snowballed. And then we had the guys who made Pennywise, and then we were like, hey, what would be the chance of us getting some of the original losers on the show? So we got most of the losers. We weren't able, I'm kind of sad about this, is that we weren't able to get the remaining losers on because things were just being too busy for them, or it was too hard to get them. But we were able to get some of the bigger ones that everybody knows. They had Brandon Crane and Ben Heller on. Brandon Crane is probably, outside of Seth Green, he's the one that everybody remembers. And it was really, really cool to have him on. And then did some more Screenbox stuff. So yeah, this is like when it all really started, taking off. Then we had Bart Mixon on, who's done special effects for so many movies, man. So many. He was in RoboCop. He did Fright Night 2. And then we had Jared Blanchard on, which was really, really cool. And I think we did another one too. Did we? I'll go back to some of these in a second, but I'm pretty sure that was a third night that we did, didn't we? Oh, is that when we left off? Oh, wow. Okay, we only did two sessions. I could have sworn we had more. Or we actually were lined up to have more, but a lot of them flaked. Seth Green was obviously one that we're really, really pushing for to try to get him on. It just wasn't happening because of his publicist and whatnot, and he was really busy at the time. So we weren't able to get that. So after that, this is another thing that happened too that was really, really cool, is that we had Ken and Ashley Sledge from Sledgehammer Horror come on, and we talked about Psycho. That was really, really fun. And one second, guys. I gotta go do one more thing, and I will be right back. I just gotta go help my son. All right, sorry about that, guys. I am back. Sometimes I gotta run away to go help my little dude out there, so I apologize for that. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, I was gonna lead into another thing that really helped further along the Screambox relationship that is still going super strong today is when we had Alex DiVincenzo and Brandon Hill on. Alex, as I said before, he's been running all of the Screambox socials, as well as his own website, which is Broke Horror Fan. And he also writes, he writes for Bloody Disgusting as well. And it was awesome having him on. And then another really, monumental figure in Screambox and Sin and Dime is Brendan Hill, is because he's part of the acquisition department for Sin and Dime that supplies a lot of the films that we see on Screambox. So it was really cool to talk to them about the service and learning about it. So for anybody who is still curious as to what Screambox is and you want to take a little bit more of a dive, I really highly recommend you go and listen to that episode. That was last September. Absolutely ridiculous. There's been so many crazy things that have been going on, and a lot of them are still coming back to me. What else happened? Oh yeah, one of my favorite movies of last year is we were able to get. Oh, yep, there's the David Howard Thornton one, the first episode that he was on. That was in July of last year, which was absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. Yeah, right here. Revealer. Now, for anybody who also is on Shudder, you know that a movie came out last year called Revealer, and I actually have the cassette tape right here for it, which is awesome. So I was a huge fan of this, and I reached out to the writers and the directors before it even came out. I saw what was coming out and what they were talking about, and how there was going to be a comic book tie-in, which I actually have the cover right here, which is signed. We had pretty much everybody on. There was a couple of sessions. There was, I think it goes back even further. Yes, so we had Kato, AC on. She was one of the actors in it. Super fun. I'm pretty sure there was another one before then. Wow, dude, there's so many things that happened. Yeah, so the creative crew, which is the writer and director that came on, that was June of last year. Jesus, man, this is absolutely ridiculous. Going back and looking at these dates and realizing when these things happened, how they've happened, like reflecting on them and being like, we're only 2 years in. This is around the time where I was essentially, I think I was solo right now because Aaron, my previous co-host, had to leave to pursue his own dreams, and he's been killing it ever since. He's going to be owning essentially his own restaurant very soon. He's been working super duper hard for that, and I'm proud of him, super duper proud of him. He took his time out of his day and his week to come over here on a Saturday. We used to record on Saturday and kind of just talk about films and maybe interview somebody. So yeah, I owe a lot to him for this the show being where it is, So yeah, there's been a lot of crazy things. Revealer happened, and then we got a lot of things from that. Here's Jason Miller, by the way. So if anybody wants to learn about his art or anything like that, he's right there. That's before we even talked about him doing any kind of art or anything for the show, really. So we did that. And our very, very first interview that we did, and I wanted to do this on purpose because of how much I look up to them and owe them. Is there's a podcast out there called The House That Screams. They've been going through, a little bit of turmoil within the group and whatnot, but things that I think have smoothed out a bit is this show, The House That Screams. It's a horror podcast. There's a bunch of them on it. And I started listening to them during the pandemic because this is a pandemic show. This podcast was birthed in the pandemic. It's how it came to be. With Aaron, I kind of asked him if he wanted to do it, and we did it. So I was like, I'm starting off this interview series. I reached out to them and I explained everything to them and had them on. We had Candy and Sean on. And it was such a fun episode. I wanted to keep going. Like, it was like one of our longest episodes we did. It's almost 2 hours long. And it was super fun. We kind of get to know about their show. And I wanted to introduce more people to their show, and I think it worked. I think it worked both ways. So that was super fun. I think Aaron was on for that one. Oh boy, this is a a reoccurring joke all the time on the show. Is this movie, and we all know that there's a second one coming out, The Mutilator. And we know that Mutilator 2 is coming out, and friend of the show and real life friend Damien Maffei is in it. And we have talked off about it, and I won't go into details about what he said, but so Mutilator, this movie was the lowest rated film we have talked about. That has been aired anyway. There's a couple episodes that have been recorded and we just never released them because of reflecting back on it and realizing, is this a good thing to put out? And Dean and I said hell no. So we just kept them in the bank. But The Mutilator, reoccurring joke. I don't think anything will ever go lower than it. But that was super fun. And then we had the Death Drop Gorgeous crew come on, which was really, really fun. They're local to me. Jason Miller, Revealer, Jill Gavargazian. This was a really, really fun one too. Oh my god. See, this is the thing. During the beginning, when I started doing interviews, I was like, there's so many people I can reach out to. So many people, and once you start tapping that well of all the people that you wanted to talk to, you start running out of people that you want to talk to because you've kind of already talked to them all. At least you think you have. So Jill was one of them, and I thought that'd be really cool to get her on and talk about her film, The Stylist. I love that film. I have it on DVD. It was a blast. Sorry, guys. So we had Jill on, or Jill 6, Jill Gavargazian, however you want to say it. She goes by both. And then we had a couple other ones. Paul Owens, he did a movie that premiered in Salem Horror Fest last year. Same with Craig Singer. This is a fun one to do. Remakes, are they worth it? That was one that we recorded on Patreon and we released just because. Okay, yep, that one's really, really cool. Kato has actually been on the show a few times. I might reach out to her again and see if she wants to come back on. That was really, really fun. Stylist. Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's anything else that was worth highlighting that was really monumental. Frank Farrell. This was a big one. There's something that happened from this interview. That I'm not really at liberty to talk about too much, but I can talk about some. Is I'll just say there's a project that he's working on that Dean and I were essentially a part of, but we don't know anymore. We had to sign a NDA, and everything, but it's been, geez, about 8 months since anything has really happened due to it. But that was a really, really fun one. He wrote and produced Spookies. He was also an actor in Street Trash. He was the guy that was kicking around his dick. That was fun. Emily Bennett and Justin Brooks. Now this one's really relevant as of right now. So they did a movie called it's Alone with You. I'm gonna click on it because I want to make sure I'm getting the title right. I'm pretty sure it's Alone with You. Oh, okay. Or you can just go up to the top. That's completely fine. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Alone with You. It's on Shudder. So we had the both of them on, and now they are they're doing a movie with Jill Gevargizian, Jill 6, who we just talked about. So that was really, really cool. And now we had Boomer from Podcast in the Woods on. God, there's just so much stuff, guys. Tim, there's Brett, Alex, the Pussycake Crew from the Pussycake movie that's on Screenbox. It's super duper fun. Chris LaMattina, who is a really, really down to earth guy, and something spawned out of that interview for Dean. He has been doing a podcast with a pretty famous writer, Grady Hendrix, who did like How to Sell a Haunted House and stuff like that. So Dean was actually a voice actor in a couple of the episodes that he did with him. There's Kato again. Connor. Okay, that was a pretty big one. This is also really big. This is the second time. Kay Lynch from Salem Horror Fest, who's the festival director and also a creative director now at the Cinema Salem. She works for Cinema Salem now and does that full time as well as the Horror Fest. So it's the second time that she was on. We were kind of talking about what would be expecting in the next Horror Fest, which has not happened yet. It is happening next month. It's actually a month from today is when it starts. I will be there. Dean, Brett, I know you're gonna be sad by this if you're still here, but Dean unfortunately is not going to be able to make it, and a lot of the plans that we were going to have happen during this festival, I don't know if it's going to happen now. Dean has been really busy with his conventions, and money is a bit tight where he is, so he's not going to be able to make it out this year, but he does promise next year. And I'm making sure it happens. So we had Kaylin Sean, that was super fun. Damien, Aaron, Leah Voicey, that was a really fun one. And Samantha Scafidi, that was really, really fun to have her on too. The mean one with Steve Lamorde. God, I'm so bad with names. Yeah, Steve was the writer and director in that. Well, he was a co-writer, I will say. And now we're getting into. We took a break, I think, December. Then we kind of came back full swing this year. And a lot of trailer reactions, and that's when we land right back with Damien Maffei, and that was really fun. Trying to think. Oh, Drew Marvick, that was a really, really fun one as well. Pool Party Massacre. Jason Eisner, really, really fun. Steve Barton, some more Terrifier 2. And then we're pretty much, I think, caught up, other than like all the things that happened with the Outwaters. We had a lot of the Outwaters cast and crew on. That was really fun. And then right now we're caught up until modern day. But I'm really, really curious. Was there an episode that, came out within the last year or so that everybody was super excited for, or you're like, wow, that was crazy. Can't believe that happened. A lot of them were pinch me moments, to be honest. Like, I can't believe a lot of it happened. But it did. And I have to thank Dean and Aaron for putting in the work that they did with the show that, landed us where we are right now. And we're just starting, guys. We're just starting. There's so much stuff going on. Let me see what Dean's doing right now. He's still cooking. So that's pretty much all that I really wanted to do is just, take a little bit of a walk back through memory lane and see what we did in a year. This year is, I'm not going to say it's slower than last year. There's definitely some things that are still in the works to happen. There's some things in the background that I'm trying to do. And this is also, I guess, another good way of me announcing this is, so our Patreon, right? I love Patreon, and I love everybody who supports us on there. But I'm thinking about maybe not cutting it completely, because I know there's a few of you on there that are still supporting, and I like to support and give content to the people who are still supporting us and who are paying. But we may be kind of cutting ties on that. I'll still post to the people who are supporting us there. So if you are on Patreon, Brett, I think you still support us on there. I'm still going to be uploading things a day or two early on there for you and everyone else who supports us. But I think I'm going to be pushing a little bit more in a different way for anybody who wants to support us. And I may or may not be working with some kind of very cool artists for some merch that's going to be happening this year that I'm excited for. Because that's one thing that we did launch when Aaron was a part of the show, and we were very, very small, like smaller than we are now. We're still small, but it was really hard to gain any kind of traction for. But I've had a few people reach out and say, do you have any shirts or anything like that? Any stickers? And I said, no, not as of right now. So what I'm thinking is in the next couple of months, we're going to have some very cool merch coming out. And I'm excited for that. So keep an eye out for anything like that. There'll be some new art pieces coming out for some shows and to kind of brighten up our look on certain social medias. And I think that's pretty much it that I really wanted to cover. I thank everybody who stopped by. I really do appreciate it. There's a couple of things I need to record today, or at least try to record today. So I might just hop off now and get ready for that stuff. There's a couple of things I need to do. So thank you guys so much. Brett, reach back out to me. I know you said you might want me to come on or something like that. It was either you or it was Podcast in the Woods. I forget. There's so many people who say they have me on a list to come on the show. So just make sure you reach out to me when that time comes. And for everybody else who is here, who has liked this, who has stopped by, I really do appreciate it. And go back and listen to some of those episodes if you haven't already on our show. Because they may be almost a year old, but they're amazing and super fun. And you can see how we have grown the past 8-9 months from those interviews. All right, everybody. I will catch everybody later. I'll plan the next live at some point. I might do something a little bit different. I'm not entirely sure what yet, but we'll figure it out. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here. I'll catch you on the next one, and keep your eye out for the next episode that's going to be dropping, because it's going to be an extremely, extremely cool one. All right, everybody. See you next time.